Alright, I should be able to be heard. I'm moving my mic around, but see how the camera's sitting. Oh, the color source is there. Starting soon can go off. Color source. That looks normal. Alright. I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit just for my sanity. Alright. So yeah, since yesterday, I've been playing around with breaking the rule and doing 2 colors with the black and white, which is there's a precedent for it because the bosses I've been drawing have 5 colors total, black, white, and 3 in the middle. This is too much. Let me turn this down a little bit. I can't hear myself talk. Bosses have 5 colors, black, white, and 3 colors in between. So right now the icons have 4, well, at least some of them. Like this one, the glass shard I was working on yesterday, has 4. The normal version, you know, I was working on it and I was like, let me just try this way. And then because it's a piece of glass and you can kind of see through it in some places, I have transparency on it. Probably not going to keep those in the same spot if I really had to guess. I think they kind of just mess with it. Like, we can make a new layer and kind of look how it would be if it had a background. Like, we're in the UI and you can kind of see through it. It's not bad, but I don't know how much I like that. So I'm gonna stick with the 4 color idea right now, update some of these icons that I've already drawn doing that, and then I might pivot to either drawing and making something new as far as creatures go, or just animating stuff. We'll see. I might pick some of the stuff I've already made and go back and animate it, and I might go back and update a couple of the things I have animated with an extra color. But yeah, we'll focus on this right now. So I was working on the heart earlier, just trying to figure out like what I want. If I paint bucket. If I want to have, like, you know, I feel like it's kind of a stereotype for heart to have this kind of shiny deal going on, something like that. But I don't know if I like that way. Might do like something like that maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna kind of leave that one, and I'm gonna go to the broken one. Add the darker red. That's what a lot of the extra color is gonna be, is just one more shade to have room to play with stuff, rather than it be, you know, what's the word? Like a ton of extra hues. Like, it's probably gonna mainly be just a brightness thing, so I can add more depth to it. But I don't know yet. We'll see. I'm slowly curating out of this giant playlist a playlist of songs I actually want to listen to when I stream, and that was not one of them, but I just let it rock. This one I'm neutral on so far. This, I almost want to... The iPad I'm looking off of to like make sure the stream is up and running is behind at the moment, but the chat should be up to date. And I'm on Ethernet, so it should be low delay between chat. I don't know, I guess it has like a do this to join the chat thing, so maybe it's not actually even open right now. Let's check. Let's go to my channel and make sure. I'll have it open on both my phone and the thing. Okay. So yeah, this one kind of the same deal as the other, like that. Oh wait, no, that's not what I even did. See how that would look if it was turned. I'm gonna leave these as they are, except I'm gonna maybe edit this outline a little bit. Something about that's just not clicking right in my brain. I'm gonna leave that how it is, because I'm not even convinced I'm gonna use the hearts at all, but I'm gonna leave that how it is for now. Move to these. These I want to do a little differently. It's almost a little too dark and a little too orange. These I kind of almost want to have like just a weird, crazy pattern on them. Tabbed out for a second. Like almost make them look not like caution tape, because that would be black stripes across, but something kind of like almost to that effect. Here, I just want to copy that. Nah, I don't really like that. I'd rather be solid all the way through if I'm gonna do that. Not that one. Yeah. This I like more how the question mark has like a curve to it. I'm gonna kinda try to emulate that. Let's get a darker for the bone. Side a little darker because that's where the darker outline is. And you, I'm not really sure about. This sword is fucking me up a little bit. The thing about the sword is, you also aren't going to use a sword at all in the game, so I'm not really sure I should even have it. But I kind of want to have it just in case. It's another one of those generic ones that's just good to have on hand in case you want to use it. And I think I'm gonna actually go lighter for the second color for this. So a little into the blue, lower saturation, higher color. Maybe do. Okay, I gotta get to a song that I actually want to hear. Not this one. We just listened to this one, it shuffled us right back to it. Oh, we're shuffling back and forth between two? Oh? Okay. I have to click on a different song so that it figures out how shuffle works again. There we go. Jesus. Alright, let's go ahead and do the shield. I'll do it on normal first and then come in and do the broken rule version over the top. Do not like the tinkles in the background, but I like everything else about this song, so I'm gonna put it in the playlist, and I'm sure I will be skipping it a bunch in the future. What am I doing? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna turn sketch back on real quick because I did think of a few extras that I wanted to sketch in the generic category. Just an up arrow and a down arrow. I guess I could do one in every direction, and they're all going to be slightly different because of the way I've angled a lot of these. I do think that's kind of what's bothering me about the sword, is that it doesn't necessarily fit how the rest of them are angled, so that might be the next step after I make a few more unrelated, is go back and like redo the sword. Why do I have lullabies playing in my ears? This is straight up, yeah, this is straight up a lullaby. No, thank you. Whoa. That's kind of fun. I'm adding that. Put these in the order that they are on the sprite sheet for the characters, just to you know, design consistency. So there's that. Got the arrows. What's up? Get some. Sketch a couple drops. Some water. More generic shit. Let's not do it and accidentally make the chain smaller. Okay, I don't know what I'm hearing. Okay, that's fine for what that is. I'm gonna put the arrows after it, I think. Put this over with the fire and everything. Thank you. I'm not in love with most of them yet. A lot of them I'm gonna have to go back and redo, but they're doing their job for the moment. I gotta go to a different song though. Eventually I will have a playlist that's loopable enough that I can use it out of what I've curated, but so far I'm working with whatever this big giant one's got for me. I think I've already heard this one. I haven't. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I probably need to think a little bit more about a lot of these, because the top 2 rows are all generic ones, and the others are ones I know that I'm gonna use that are like story relevant. So I've gotta go back and tweak those. I think I'm gonna do I'm gonna start on the hourglass, and then I think I'm gonna pivot to making some more little guys. What in the fuck am I hearing? Okay, it might be okay. That was just a wild way to start a song. Okay, this is good. It started in a way that I wasn't prepared for. I need to turn the sketch off. Yeah, I knew this wasn't at the angle I wanted it to be. Okay, I gotta really learn these keyboard shortcuts so I'm not clicking the tools constantly. I don't even like the sand on the inside, how that looks. That's just gonna go. My whole life, I didn't really use shortcuts ever. I mean, for so long, I did pixel art first in MS Paint and then in Paint.net before I got this, and I just never used keyboard shortcuts, even though they would have saved me a lot of time. But I'm trying to get better at it now just to be more efficient. It's just, when I'm drawing, I like to have my head on my hand, or like have my hand doing something else, like fidgeting or something, so I never want to have it on the keyboard. Yeah, that's fair. I think once you're in a like professional setting, it's hard to ignore stuff that makes you faster. I don't like how this looks at all. I think I'm just gonna... This might be one that I don't have at a tilt like the others, but let me see what I can do if I bring this up into the other layer and then tweak it from there. They are, yeah. I don't know. I don't fully know yet what I'm even gonna make the game in. It started as RPG Maker, and then RPG Maker was too limited for what I was doing, so I pivoted. So it's either gonna be in Godot or a different program. Probably probably gonna shop around a little bit more. I hate Unity. I don't like using Unity at all, so it won't be in Unity. That's all I know for sure. How do I select the color only over here? I don't think you actually can do that. I think we're gonna have to do this, which isn't so bad. I guess I could have cut this into a new layer, selected the color, gotten rid of it, and then pasted it back, but it's fine. Okay. This is better than the outline I was doing before, so this one I can actually tweak and get something I want. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens to me constantly. Let me make sure I have just this tile selected. If I have the sand, it'll be like here-ish. Okay, now I'm eventually gonna make everything in the palette the same, but I'm gonna go and open up my tile set and get the sand colors from there. Why didn't you paste in? I don't know why it's not pasting that into here. Do I have something with my palette turned on wrong? No? Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. That's why. It's always on the wrong layer. There we go. And then we can new palette from Sprite, add those. Oh dude, you're here too. That's the... Yeah, I was gonna say that's the bone color. That's not the right color. I'm the only one who's ever lived. See, now I was talking earlier, I broke the rule by adding one more color, but now I want an additional color for this one, because I want black, white, the 2 colors for the stand, and 1 additional color. I was only doing black, white, and a color. I broke the rule for the icons. Now I want to break it again, and if I keep... I do have a lot of warm colors. So here's the thing. If I go to, for example, if I go to these guys, all of them, every single one, black, white, and 1 other color. If I go to the player character, thus far, black, white, gray, black, white, and a color. If I go to... This is where it gets different. If I go to the boss that I've only made 1 animation for, starts as 3 colors, black, red, and yellow, but it pulses to 5 colors. It pulses to black, white, orange, red, yellow. So that's what he does. So there's a precedent for things having 5 colors. Thank you. I am a big fan of him. I need to make more animations for him. I went through a lot of stages of how it was going to look. Originally, I was going to stick to 3 colors, and it was going to like drip off of him, but it didn't look as intimidating as I wanted, so I wound up with the fire. And I think that just looks better, and I can use that effect for like when he's attacking. I want to have like bursts like that, where the fire like gets white hot and then cools back down. And then the idea kind of would be, as you get further on in the fight, there will be a point where the fire is more intense and there's hardly any red, and it's mostly the really bright hot colors. And then when you're about to beat him, he would cool down and be mostly red and orange and not a lot of yellow or white, is how I kind of envision it. That'll be like the old video game visual cue where they get tinted differently. It'll be how intense the heat is what I'm thinking for him. But yeah, these guys are all black, white, and a color. And I've animated... Where is it? So I've animated the bat already, and I made that work with black, white, and a color. He only needs 2 animations, because the idle can be the move animation, and then he just needs to bite. But I also have the albino bat, and that was more challenging because I need the black outline, and that all still looks good. But I had to figure out how the mouth works, and that just... the red teeth are weird. But that's the only way I could get it to be the same animation and readable. So, if I commit to everything being able to be 5 colors, then I can go back and I can add a different, like a yellow for the teeth or something, and have the mouth be red, and it'll be readable and all that. And then maybe like a gray for shading or whatever. Is kind of what I'm thinking, is that I may have to abandon the like really limited NES Game Boy Color idea and lean more into Super Nintendo, which is the art I like making anyway. But I was trying to go as simple as possible, and then I kind of threw that out the window. Yeah, it's okay. It's not bad. I was trying... Yeah, the boss does set the precedent. I was trying to stick to a visual thing. And I mean, like, I'll show... Like, obviously, the water is 4 colors. I think Evan's seen how the water's animated before, but I'll show it right here. If I can turn it all on. Like, that's 4 colors, obviously. Yeah, this I did a lot of tweaking, and I wound up really liking it. And I made it, you know, I made all these tiles so I can like drag it around all the sand tiles and make it work. So all of these have been like indexed onto the big beach tile set into these 4 frames, and then I can put them into, originally it was going to be Godot, but it'll probably be, I'm thinking of there's a different engine that people use to make like a Link to the Past type games, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about using, but I haven't done that yet. I need to actually check that out. But yeah, all that is indexed onto here, and it uses the same format as all the dirt and sand and stuff. So anyway, I don't need the beach open anymore. I don't need the that or that. I'm liking it so far. Yeah, I was trying to do a lot of texture with the limited stuff. So like the sand is only 2 colors, and the dirt is only 2 colors. In some cases there's 3 colors. That I was really trying to get the stuff to be a limited color palette. And what I'm going to do is go through everything and make a master color palette and recolor everything so that it's all consistent outright, which will help for the like SNES aesthetic. Game of the year, never. If this comes out, it's gonna be like at least 5 years, I'm sure. But yeah, no, it like the SNES aesthetic. If I limit the entire game to a color palette of about 128 colors, maybe 64 if I really stretch them, and I just reuse shades and stuff. Oh yeah, what's up, Ben? If I reuse shades for different things and transfer them throughout, I can keep the retro vibe by having the colors across board be limited rather than apply them, rather than each individual thing be limited. I can have just the whole game is limited so that the colors cross-reference that way, which is true of anything. I think the original Zelda has a color palette total of like 8 colors. A Link to the Past color palette is like 64, I think. We've definitely got 5 people in here, and I don't know who the 5th is, but that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna lock in, and I'm gonna go up to 5 on the hourglass here, because I want gold on top for sure. There's a 50% chance that the 5th is Emma and just is playing a game while she listens. This is where you find out that me doing this thing, this game here, is completely up and down, all just a game changer bit, and there's never been events at all. Nice. Okay. Got a bunch of generics made. I showed this at the beginning of the stream before a bunch of people were here. This is going to be like the starting weapon of the game. It's a shard of glass from an hourglass. I'm going to pivot. Do we want to make a new guy, or do we want to animate a guy I've already drawn? Okay. I'm going to open up. Wait, no, hold on. I'm going to open up. I'm going to open the rat, I think. For those that haven't seen the rat, I'll show the animations for it. But yeah, we're just going to use this as a template. Big fan of the rat, especially the idle animation. Oh yeah, he had to be. This rat is the same size as the dwarves, so he's not a small guy. Yeah, I do like the song that I'm hearing. I think this might already be in my other playlist that I'm curating. It's not. Silent Partner, I think, is the best at making all this copyright music, or copyright-free music. Okay, so let me go to my, not this window. Let me go to my spreadsheet real quick and look at some of the stuff I was writing down of enemies I want to have. You know, oh, you know what I want to do? I'm not going to do an enemy, actually. And I'm not going to do it that size. I'm actually going to open up the player character and do it in her size. Where is she? I'm going to make a, like, a human-sized person. Do some ghosts. Ghosts are a large part of the game. I guess I can show her animations too. I'm completely I said this on the last stream, but everybody who wasn't here, I'm completely redoing her sheet because I don't like how a lot of it turned out. So this is the sheet that I originally made of her, but I'm redoing the animations for her. So like obviously this animation, not correct. The walking animation I'm getting mostly correct so far. But yeah, we're not doing, she's got her own file. She goes away. Go ahead and select all of this except for that. Well, I guess I can delete everything. I don't need the tags. Yeah, I like her so far. I definitely think I'm gonna add more color to her. I think she needs like a gold and a pale blue is kind of what I'm thinking, but I'm not sure yet. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to here because this is the face down. Grab my symmetry. I said grab my fucking symmetry. way too wide. Gotta add this to my other playlist. I think we're at about 20 other songs in the other playlist. I kind of like him having like a not open. Now this guy is friendly. He may not look it, but he is a friend. Let me actually pull her up too so that I can get her scale. Yeah, so he needs to fit within the middle. He can be a little taller, but he needs to be almost the same. Maybe. I have a tablet. For pixel art, I tend to kind of like mouse. For not pixel art, I do like to draw on a tablet, but I have an iPad for that. really know if I want... What the fuck is that? Oh, I understand. Why is this being difficult? There we go. Make something wildly different. Just so I can see through it. I don't actually know if I want to do that. Yeah, this guy is dead, so he's very faded. I haven't, I was gonna have it be transparent in some places because he's like a ghost, but I just don't think. I don't think there's enough sprite space to have that look good. I could have semi-transparent in some spots, but that's something I'm not really ready to deal with at the moment. Okay, I don't want to have anything with lyrics, if I can help it. Yeah, that might be the way to do it too, is just to render it at 50%. Got it. I would have to. Think about that. Yeah. Yeah, then this guy is a ghost, and they're gonna be around at night and be helpful. It's gonna be like a 20-minute day-night cycle, I think, maybe half an hour, and at night they give like little lore bits and tips, but they're not necessary to do anything. Like, you don't have to talk to any of them. They're just there to be cool. So I'm only gonna have like a male and a female look and spread them throughout the game. I'm not gonna have too many unique ones. Yeah, I don't want to say too much about the story yet, in case I change it. But the narrative that I kind of have going, I've been reading a lot of mythology stuff and like mishmashing stuff, and I kind of like the vibe I've got going. There's a lot of reasons why the character looks the way she does and why hourglasses are such a big deal. A lot of little things going on. Okay, I'm gonna move him over to the facing up spot. Let's flip him around. I guess I should just bring the transparent, or not transparency, symmetry over. How wild we talking? That's pretty good. I need to watch the new South Park episode. I was keeping up with the newer seasons for a while, but I haven't watched this most recent episode. Okay, let's get the body right first, actually. Okay, now I can focus on the head a little more. Yeah, I'm kind of curious if the White House is going to sue over that or if they're just going to let them do their thing. Like that, I know they or South Park's not even relevant anymore, but they came out and did that whole statement, so clearly they're mad about it. Yeah, for sure. I know what I'm trying to do. Just don't know if I can achieve it that way. That might be I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say. Definitely there's some horror going on in it. It's more it's more of an RPG, I would say, like an action RPG, like a Link to the Past, but there are definitely more horror elements than like old school Zelda had. There was a period where I was making a lot of sprites and I was working on a horror game, uh, but I fell off of that because every time I make a horror game, I try to make it an RPG maker, and I kind of hit a roadblock with the limitations in that, and I don't want to pay for plugins to fix the limitations that are frustrating me. It's a vicious cycle of like almost figuring out how to do something without plugins and then hitting a wall with it, looking for a solution. Someone says, oh yeah, there's a plugin for that, and then the plugin is like 20 to 30 bucks, and I just don't have that to spare for something I'm not sure that I'm going to finish. Like, there's a really big action plugin out for RPG Maker that came out very recently that looks great, and it looks like it might be very intuitive, and I might be able to use it for a game like this. But the base plugin is a ton of money, and then a lot of the plugins that work with the plugin to like add extra frames of animation and all that also cost money. And the guy who's making it is doing great work. Like, I'm very impressed with a lot of the stuff he does. But I just can't afford to buy his stuff, so I can't mess around with it. So yeah, no, all that to say, I know how to do a lot of the stuff I want to do in Godot. I'm not sure that I'm gonna use Godot, but it is gonna be like an action RPG type of deal. There are multiple. Oh, you know, okay. You know what's weird is throughout this whole playlist of YouTube audio library music, there are things that are listed band then song. Some are song then band. Yeah, I mean, it's understandable because a lot of these people are like completely coding something for you from scratch. Like some of the plugins aren't that expensive, but they only do one very specific thing. And some of it is I could learn to make my own plugins for RPG Maker, and I could, learn JavaScript, make the plugins myself, make it work. But it's sort of like if I'm going to spend all the time that I would have spent just using something or using the built-in systems to do that, then I might as well have used an engine that can do more out of the box, and I'll just code it anyway if I'm going to learn to code, which is why I keep coming back to Godot rather than RPG Maker. I think RPG Maker is a really good engine with a really like high ceiling for what it can do. I've seen people make like 3D games in it recently, but it just has a lot of it has a lot of limitations that are hard to solve on your own, and if you know how to solve them on your own, you could probably do it in something that's better. They're releasing a new engine soon called Action Game Maker, which I was like, oh, cool, that seems like something I might get into. But it's sort of just like a stripped down Godot. Like it has like a lot of the systems built into it. Uh, but it's just Godot, and the systems that are built in, you kind of like wall yourself into having to use them. So if you know how to use Godot out the box, then it's worse because it's limiting you. If you're medium on Godot, it's good because it takes out some of the guesswork for you and starts you with the basic systems in the same way that RPG Maker does. And if you know nothing about Godot, it's bad because you need to know some stuff about Godot to even have it function for you. So it just seems like, I don't know, it seems like they could have done something more akin to how RPG Maker works, but not tacked onto an existing engine. But there's not as much money in that. RPG Maker, like, even the systems for it that are old make a ton of money. And it's more profitable to market them as a JRPG thing and also sneak in, like, hey, some of the biggest indie horror games that are, like, influential to indie horror are also made in RPG Maker, and not, like, the newer versions, in the old versions. So imagine what the new versions can do, and the answer is, well, about the same thing. I don't think I've played like a pure horror game that didn't have JRPG elements in one of the newer RPG makers. It seems like most of the horror games get made in an older system of it, which is interesting. Or maybe just the bubble has popped, which it did a long time ago, but still. I don't hear about a lot of new ones. Like Fear and Hunger, I would say, is a horror game, but that's a JRPG first with a horror aesthetic. It's not a horror game purely, in the same way that like Ebe or Mad Father or Yumi Nikki is not uh, a horror game, but Yumi Nikki inspired a lot of the horror games that were made in RPG Maker. Fear and Hunger looks great, and it doesn't use a ton of plugins. I was briefly, and I might go back to it eventually, working on like a zombie game that used like the same system where you could target body parts and stuff. And I liked it, and I liked the idea, but there was a lot of like, there's a lot of issues with RPG Maker itself that you can do it and it can be really awesome, but it's also kind of annoying, is how I would put it. Like, the guy that made Fear and Hunger must have been like, whenever he was making a new enemy, going, God fucking damn it, why is this like this? Like, all the time. This is almost where I want it to be. Just need to keep tweaking it. I think, yeah, the black coming like that so that it's turned properly. This is always both the most boring part and, to me, the most interesting part is trying to take like the front pose and get it right the other way. And so I'm kind of locked in and not really saying anything because I'm trying to figure out exactly how this needs to look. I think like that, and it needs to be blue. I like doing it at first. When it gets to animating, it starts to... animating's just hard. Animating is the thing that is like the most work, and it's the thing I want to do the least, even though I always, you know, it's fun at first, but getting animating right is difficult. Especially like this game, it's not going to be too bad because I'm only doing 4 directions. If you're doing 8 directions, rough. If you're doing 16 directions, fuck. At that point, you might as well just make a 3D game, and then you only have to animate one direction. And making a 3D game is more annoying. I actually think making a functioning 3D game basically is easier now than making a 2D game, because a 2D game has so much more like flat groundwork in the assets. Making a really high level 3D game is harder than making a 2D game. But making something really basic that's like playable but not like mind blowing, I think making a 3D game at this point in time, based on all the technology and stuff, is easier. As someone who's tried to make both. This is the thing that's... yeah. Well, let me look. So that should taper into that, but it should be thicker through here and a little through there. Maybe like that. No. Without those two that I just put. Okay. Make sure all the colors on the face are the same. There should be blue in this specific pixel. Okay. No. Not what I wanted to do. Nope, also not what I wanted to do. Don't need to all caps it. Do I have the... I don't really need to put the directions. They're easy to understand here. Okay. Let's start with this. No, I just wanted the mouth to like open and the face to go down. Thank you. I'm not incredibly happy with it, but I like what we wound up with so far. I can always, luckily since it's such a small character, like whatever I don't like, I can come back and change. I actually don't know that I even want the shoulders to move. I may not want it to move at all. It may be better if it's just kind of standing there, now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe do like a... I kind of want them to be like stuck on the ground. I want to see how this looks. That could work. Like the particles. Maybe I start one here as well. No, start it on this frame here. Then here. And then it's up here on the first frame so that they feed back into each other. But I kind of want them to like wisp a little bit too. That one does what I want it to do, but it goes a little far. It's the right idea, but not the right execution. I'll make it 6 frames if I have to, and I might. Back to the first frame, remove that. Oh wait, no. 'Cause that's... No, that is right. So that one, I'm gonna put that a little bit further down. Didn't have the desired effect. Yeah, this is all YouTube's like audio library stuff that I'm kind of trying to cultivate into a playlist of stuff that I like out of it. And I don't hate a lot of it, but there's a lot of it that I'm like actively trying not to hear. This one is pretty good. So far, the Jingle Punks, which is this band, and Silent Partner, I think, is the other one. Those are the ones that I've found make the best stuff. Oops. Not the frame I wanted to be on. Yeah, I like that name. No. For sure not. Maybe. You know, it's worth playing around with, but I like the idea of him just standing there with the particles coming around him. I think that's too much movement for what these guys are supposed to be like. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that should still have the particles. Yeah, they like, I could try and make them look like the mouth. Like, I do kind of like the idea of the mouth being a little creepier, but I almost like that these guys are just kind of standing there glowing when you come near them in the middle of the night, and then you can come and talk to them. I feel like that works more for me. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my little select tool here. Just have it be the same little particle movement on all of them. Then I definitely think, yeah, I knew I was missing one here. Knew I was missing one. I'm always gonna be missing that one. Did that one. Last one. Yeah, there we go. Same on all of them. I think we've been going for what? If I can find my stream here. No, show me how long I've been going in general. I've been going for a little over 2 hours, so I think I'm gonna stop right here. So thanks everybody for coming out, and I have no idea when I'm doing another one, but it'll be sometime next week. Some weeknight or two next week. That's what I can say for sure. But I'll let everybody know. Goodbye.